All right, in this video, we're going to be looking at a well that's pumping at a certain rate. We want to be able to quantify how much water that is in different units over different time scales. So we're going to start with a well. Imagine we're pumping water out, and the rate at which we're pumping water out is going to be 100 CFS. So when you see CFS, the first thing you need to do anytime you're going to manipulate this number mathematically, you need to be able to write these units out. So this, when we want to work with it, CFS, remember, is cubic feet per second. Right? So cubic feet per second. This visual allows us to kind of go, okay, what units do I have from the volume component? What units do I have for time? And so in this example, we want to know, okay, this is how much water we're producing every second. We want to know how many acre feet of water is this over the course of a year. Right? That's how we're going to quantify those larger volumes of water. So let's start with what we've got, 100 cubic feet per second. I always like to start with the volume component, as most students like to start with that as well. So we need to go from CFS to AFY. And remember, writing that out, we're looking at acre feet per year. So we need to go from cubic feet to acre feet and from seconds to years, two different components there. Now, when we go from cubic feet to acre feet, there's sort of the short way and then there's the long way. Now, the long way is what most students do because we're so familiar with going from cubic feet to gallons, then gallons to acre feet. You're doing an extra step, you leave more room for error, there's more rounding issues when you do it like that. So I'm going to show you the short way, the easy way, as long as you know one slight little trick, and we'll look at the formula sheet right now too for the state of California. So I want to get rid of cubic feet, I want to go to acre feet. So if I drop my conversion factor, cubic feet is going to go top or bottom. It's always going to go on the opposite to cancel out. So we know we need cubic feet down here. We're trying to bring in acre feet. Now notice that if we remove the A here from acre, we're talking about feet. We're also talking about cubic feet. So those two units, they directly correlate. Now if we look at the older version of the formula sheet that's being phased out, in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to see that there's a conversion here for 1 acre equals 43,550 square feet. So 1 acre equals 43,560 square feet. Now, if you'll remember, an acre, right, is a flat piece of land. It's two-dimensional and therefore has an area in square feet. But an acre foot is just an acre of land with 1 foot of water sitting on top. So an acre, 1 acre is equal to 43,560 square feet. 1 acre foot is equal to 43,560 cubic feet, right? The reason is because we're just taking this acre and multiplying by 1 foot. So what we do to one, we can do to the other, and that gets us to cubic feet. So this is not on the formula sheet. It's also not on the new formula sheet that the state released as well, but the conversion from acre to square feet is there. You just need to remember that that's the same thing. So we can use this directly now in our conversion, where 1 acre foot is equal to that 43,560 square foot number. Now, this takes care of the volume component. If we look at my cubic feet are gone, I'm left with acre feet. We need to take care of the time component now as well. We want to know not only how much water is going through in a second, we want to get to a year. So there's 5 different ways to get to that yearly component. It's up to you. If you want to go from seconds to minutes to hours to days to years, you can do that way as well. I like to use the formula sheet here because it's got the conversion of the number of seconds in a day, whether you're working off the new one or whether you're working off the old one. So let's write out our conversion factor. We know we're trying to get rid of seconds, so that's going to go up top. I'm going to actually go straight from seconds to days. Now, if you did minutes, hours, however you want to do it, you can do it either way. But I know that there's 86,400 seconds in 1 day. Now, this is a number when you work with it a lot, you'll start to kind of memorize it, but it's right down here when it comes to 1 day, 24 hours, 1440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. So this cancels out seconds. Now, if I were to stop here, just thinking about my units, when I look across the top, I'm left with acre feet. I look across the bottom, I'm left with days. That's not what I want, right? I need to get to acre feet per year. So we got to go one more conversion factor here. Trying to get rid of days, so days is going to go up top. I'm trying to get to years. There's 365 days in 1 year. Remember, we always do these calculations for a regular year, a non-leap year year. So days cancels out. My units I'm left with are going to be just acre feet per year. Now, when it comes to the math on this one's a little bit more complicated. Remember that you can multiply straight across the top and take that number, multiply straight across the bottom, take that, and then divide those two out. You're going to get the same answer. Or you can do kind of the version that I like to do, which is I start with the number that I've got here, in this case 100. A number on the bottom gets divided, a number on the top gets multiplied. So I'm just going to do 100 divided by 43,560 times 86,400 times 365. So what do I get? I get 72,396.69, on and on and on. In other words, 72,397 AFY, or acre feet per year. Now, I mentioned that the most common way is a longer way that most students are going to do this problem. And instead of going straight from cubic feet to acre feet, a lot of times students will go from cubic feet to gallons and then gallons back to acre feet. Save yourself those extra steps, save yourself the rounding errors, more errors in your calculator possible, and go straight from cubic feet to acre feet. If you did go the long way, I'll draw that up real quick. Cubic feet per second. You could, and again, there's like 10 ways to do this problem. You're going to get the right answer. There's just more or less steps. So if we were to go from cubic feet to gallons, we could have gone that route with the 7.48 gallons for every 1 cubic feet. But now we're left with gallons. So then we got to get rid of the gallons and go to acre feet. And that's where we'd bring in the 325, 851. So instead of doing this one step here, you're not doing these two steps. Right? One's multiplying, one's dividing. Save yourself that time. So if you're dealing with feet and acre feet, you can go back and forth very easily. And then if you went this way, you're still going to get the right answer more or less. It's going to be a little bit different. And you'll see that as you start to take things to like the third or fourth significant figure. Okay, that's it.